Hey, beautiful people. Angela Renee, the creative doula. I told you guys I would come for 10 days in a row talking about Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And I'm just going to give you some highlights from chapter 2, which the title is The Way Out of Pain. And I think this is so profound because most people don't feel like they can, get out of pain, but you can. And it's absolutely necessary that you understand these principles so that you do not get stuck and that you're able to heal and move past. But some of it is not even about healing, y'all. It's just facing it so that you can free yourself and you can be in the now, in the present, right? So let's talk about that. So the way out of pain talks about this unnecessary human pain, right? That we have. And it comes from like non-acceptance, right, of situations and circumstances. It comes from that unconscious resistance to what is. Just not that's the acceptance again, right? And denying the present and trying to escape it, right? And this is so interesting because one of the things what we have to learn is to be present, to be in this moment. Yeah, that moment, this moment, right? Because the past it's that quick. And if you don't accept the moment, you miss it. And that's a challenge to yourself as a human, for you to not be. It is amazing, but you got to learn to be. The way out, like he says, is to accept the now. That's the way out of pain. And I can say that I'm sitting here smiling because I know that to be true. I am a witness that is the way out of pain. To learn how to just be and accept the now. I talk about acceptance as the key. And that term brought me so far in life, just accepting that this is what it is, right? And when you accept it, then it is, let's just talk about pain. Then the pain no longer has power. But the mind fights that because it wants to be in control. The mind wants to be in control, so it wants you to identify with the pain so they can be in control. But if you begin to identify with the pain and you give it a whole personality, then you miss out on the moment, on being. And so you have to understand the power of that. And the way that he talks about, like Eckhart Tolle shares with us, about getting out of that is just accepting. When that pain comes, you don't try to deny it. You acknowledge it for what it is. And then that breaks the power. The mind cannot be in control of that, right? Time cannot be an issue. It will no longer be an issue. You don't have to worry about what you felt. If you're like, okay, what is this feeling? And acknowledging it, because pain's gonna come on a lot of different levels: emotional pain, physical pain, right? But do you give it power? By saying, a lot of us say, my hurt, my gout, right? Whatever it is that they're claiming, my aching, my pain, right? Whatever it is that they're claiming, you give it a character and a whole personality, and the thing is, it really starts to live. And now you're in your past, you're in your future, but you're not appreciating the now. This is so important that you get this, you guys. You got to get it. And it's simple, but it's so hard because we've been taught not to be in the present. We're always comparing ourselves to other people and situations and circumstances, and we're trying to, we're living in the future, what I will have, instead of just saying, this is what I have in this moment. And I'm grateful for it. So we do that obsessively with pain. And Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body, when it becomes this character, right? It becomes something because you've focused on it. You've allowed your mind to focus on it. So now it's a whole being. It's a whole energy. It's a whole energy, you guys, because you won't let it go. You won't let the pain of the passing of your parent go, or the passing of a child, God forbid, right? Or the passing of a dear friend or a spouse or a brother or a sister. The pain of that. It has become a whole energy because you just couldn't let it go and accept that this person's life is over. That they came and they did and existed and did what they were supposed to do, and now it's at its end. And that is hard. So we're not saying for you to ignore it, but to accept it, to feel it. It's so important that you feel it. That you honor the fact that that pain is real. And you let it have its moment. You let it be. And then you let it go. Acceptance is the key. He uses an example, which I thought was interesting. A lot of women will understand it, of your menstrual cycle. And I remember, okay, I'm one of those people that I didn't have the menstrual cramps for the most part. Very, very, very rare. Like once or twice I can remember having a menstrual cramp. But I didn't forget that pain of childbirth. Right? But I also know that with that cycle, right, emotionally, because he talks about emotions too, that I could be a little short. But once I knew my attitude and my behavior was changing because my cycle was coming, then I checked myself. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's just what that is. The premenstrual syndrome was real. And I honored the fact that, okay, I'm short like this with people because my cycle's getting ready to come. But now let me check myself, because that's not an excuse. Okay? That part, y'all. Check that. But I thought that was a good example, and I have my own with that. But I do have daughters, one daughter in particular that has bad cramps. And we want to, because we're in pain, right? We want everybody else to pay for it a lot of times when we're going through our menstrual cycle. But that's just not okay. Go ahead and own the pain. Not own it. That may not be the best word. I'm saying give it its moment to accept that, okay, my cycle is coming and this pain is connected to my cycle. But don't make it a whole thing. Don't let it become an energy. Because now, since you know that this is what this is, then you need to put your mind in check and say, okay, mind, you don't get to control me because my cycle is here. And I'm not going to allow my behavior to be unacceptable to people just because the pain of my cycle. So you accept the fact that the pain is there. Acceptance is the key, right? You accept that it's there. And you manage your mind. You manage your emotions. And you know that pain comes and it goes. And you're going to let that pain come and go. And don't hold on to the past. And don't obsess over the future because of the pain that you're experiencing. Feel it, right? I think I wrote down some notes. I don't want to forget how I put it. It says feel it. Identification was the term I wanted to remember, right? Observe it, and then it's broken. Just like I gave the example of looking at your life through the camera lens. You're in it. Let it have its moment, so it can just be and go. We don't need to hold on to pain. It calls it the pain body. Y'all, we're getting healed here. The pain body. It says the pain body wants to survive, but it can only survive if it can get you to identify with it. That part right there. Right? Of course, this is all type of pain, you guys. Emotional, physical, right? Traumas, all that. And that's why you work with, ancestral trauma experts, like my friend Deneen Joyner, to deal with it, accept it, feel it, move past it, so you can enjoy the moment, so you can be so beautiful just to be. All right, y'all, I think that's enough. I think it's a lot to this book, and I will encourage you to read The Power of Now. But the second chapter, The Way Out of Pain, remember, most of the pain that we deal with is unnecessary human pain. And if you will but accept it, feel it, so that you can break the power that it has and can have over you. Just feel it. Accept it for the moment. Because the mind wants to hold on to it so it can control it. But you don't let it do that. You acknowledge the pain. You feel it. And you move through it. And you leave it in the past. You don't take it into the future. You don't let it shape your future. You acknowledge it. You feel it. So it can be broken. And you move forward. Peace and love, love and light, y'all. You got this.